Hey guys, what's up? It's Brian Max for Truck Central here. I've joined Ram at an event in Whistler, British Columbia, a very picturesque place to drive these new Rams, the Rebel and the Power Wagon. And as you probably know, they're two very, very different trucks. Different drivetrains, and of course the Rebel's a half-ton, and this Power Wagon that I'm driving here is a 2500. It's a heavy-duty pickup, and it's so far a heck of a lot of fun to drive. But we're going to have a look at these in some detail and figure out what these are all about. Now, they are two of Ram's offerings that are ready to go off-road straight out of the showroom. And I think that's one of the interesting and compelling reasons that Ram's gone ahead and put this event together. And it is a heck of a lot of fun to drive these things here. So join me as we have a look at the Ram Rebel and the Ram Power Wagon. As I mentioned off the top, the drivetrains are very different. So are the suspensions in some very fundamental ways. And, otherwise you're left with two different vehicles that approach off-roading a little bit differently. So let's get into that.
So what exactly are we driving here? Well, for starters, we've got the Ram 1500 Rebel, and you may not see that many of them on the road. About 10% in the US of total Ram sales are actually Rebels. Under the hood, there's the 5.7-liter Hemi, making 395 horsepower, 410 pounds of torque with an 8-speed automatic. Now, this Rebel specification is fairly unique. There's an electronic differential lock, a 392 rear differential, a shift-on-the-fly transfer case. The Rebel is about 1 inch taller than other Rams, and of course, the Rebel has Bilstein dampers with remote reservoirs, and of course, don't forget the multi-link rear suspension. Optionally, there is a 4-corner air suspension, and more on that later. Tires are 32-inch Goodyear Duratrax on 18-inch wheels. There's a full skid plate kit, tow hooks, hill descent control, and it's worth noting that the Rebel is available as crew cab and quad cab. In the Ram lineup, the Rebel's bigger brother is the Power Wagon, which started life as a World War II weapons carrier, according to Ram, but I wasn't there, so I can't entirely be certain. Under the hood, there's a 6.4-liter Hemi that makes 410 horsepower and 429 pounds of torque. There are, of course, those lovely Bilstein dampers, 5-link rear, 33-inch tires on the Power Wagon, by the way. As I like to say, there are the E-sway bars, which you can disconnect and reconnect with the touch of a button, as well as E-locking differentials. Plus, you can lock the front and rear drive shafts in this Power Wagon. That's pretty cool. There's massive front suspension travel with that sway bar disconnected, by the way. The Power Wagon is 2 inches taller than a regular 2500. The 12-inch U-Connect, which I just love, is optional. It is worth mentioning that the Power Wagon is available as crew cab only. And the best news is that thankfully you can delete that Power Wagon sticker on the bed. Also, worth noting, you can get a tradesman with the Power Wagon suspension. I think that's pretty cool. If you need a work truck and want an awesome suspension, that tradesman is the way to go.
Ram isn't skimping on the suspensions of both of these trucks. For both, they use Bilstein shocks, and you can clearly see them through the wheel arches. But Bilsteins are great dampers. They do a fantastic job. But in this Power Wagon, the conventional coiled spring-based suspension works great, and Ram's got a very different approach to suspension setups than the competitors, if you will. And on the road, especially in the 1500 with the air suspension, it's very, very comfortable, but I don't know if that's the right way to go when you're off-roading. Here on the road, it's nice and smooth, but off-roading, I don't know if I'd go with the air suspension. It's not perfectly suitable, but you know, that's for you to decide. I wasn't particularly impressed by it, but I do love it on the road, which is where most people are driving their half-ton Rams, and you know, that's absolutely the truth. But you know, the Rebel is a little more off-road oriented. I'd probably go with the conventional suspension there, but the Bilstein dampers all around do a fantastic job, and of course the Goodyear Wrangler Duratrax on both of these just are magnificent. Tons and tons of traction in every situation, from rocks to mud to stones and all kinds of mixed surfaces. These tires are just magnificent. Climbed some amazing stuff and descended some amazing stuff, and these tires never let me wrong. Did a great job speccing these Goodyear Wrangler Duratrax on these Rams. It's just a fantastic all-around tire. The four-wheel drive systems are also very, very different, and of course here on the 2500 Power Wagon, you've got to shift manually between 4 high, 4 low, and 2 high, of course. And whereas in the half-ton Rebel, it's all push button and it's very, very straightforward. But the way they've engineered these trucks is that they are very much off-road oriented, with, of course, the sway bar disconnect and hill descent and the locking diffs. There are some small differences between the two systems, but they work exceptionally well and they're very, very easy to use. In addition, on the 2500, on this Power Wagon, you can actually lock the front and rear drive shafts, which is really, really cool in certain situations. And one of the really cool things about this Power Wagon is that it's got a winch on the front from the factory. That is so cool. And the winch itself is very, very trick. It's not some cheap piece of equipment they've thrown on there. It's very well engineered and thoroughly thought through. So well done, Ram. That is a fantastic choice and very, very smart, and also safer for your customers. So well done, Ram. Personally, I think these are still the best looking full-size trucks on the market. I think at Ram, they've got design down. These things look purposeful, they're attractive, they're muscular, they're athletic, they look like proper trucks, and that's another thing I do love about Ram. I don't know if it's coming through, but of course with these Goodyear Wrangler Duratrax, there is a little bit of road noise, and you know, that's okay. That's not a bad trade-off given the tremendous off-road capability of these tires. I can totally live with that, and for the most part, Ram's done a great job in sound deadening as well. So it's something you can live with, something you're going to have to live with if, of course, you go with a Power Wagon or a Rebel, and you know, that's the compromise. But given the way these things handle off-road conditions, I would totally live with that, no problem at all. Now, about these engines, with the Rebel, you get the 5.7, and with the Power Wagon, you get the 6.4. Well, you gotta love the power of the 6.4. It's great. Now, since we've got the opportunity to look at both the Rebel and this Power Wagon in the same day at the same place, we're gonna hear what these things sound like. I'm not gonna tell you what I think. I'm gonna let these things run, start them up, run them for you, and you're gonna have to let me know what you think. But here we go. Let's listen to these two Hemis, shall we? don't know what's coming through on your speakers or your headphones, but to me, they actually didn't sound that much different in person. So to me, there's actually not much different in sound between these Hemis. Now, my choice, of course, is for the 6.4. Who doesn't love that 6.4? Great motor. Lots of power and plenty of torque, and that's definitely my choice. And if I could get in the Rebel, that might be the trick. But no, I think overall it just suits this Power Wagon a little bit better. So anyway, I'd like to know what you think. So leave a comment below. I'll get back to you whenever I get a chance, and I'd like to hear what you think and see how it comes through on your end, because to my ears, again, these two Hemis don't sound all that much different from one another. Considering that small difference in price, I don't know what you think, but I would still go for the Power Wagon. I just wouldn't put Power Wagon on the sides of these things, but that's just me. But I do like this truck. It is absolutely fantastic. For me, it suits my type of driving, the way I use the truck, and really dig it. The only thing that doesn't work for me is that I have short, stubby legs, and it's a bit of a hassle for me to jump in and out of this thing, and I really wouldn't want to ruin it with running boards, so I'd figure out another solution. But I really dig this truck, and like I said, it just looks the business. It is a fantastic looking piece, drives really well, very, very impressed, and really dig this big 12-inch screen. They've done a great job at Ram with this thing, and it's almost a game changer. I think for some people it is definitely a game changer, but for me, I'm very impressed with this. Wow, that trail was epic, absolutely epic to drive. Very, very challenging. And, you know, these are big trucks, both the Rebel and, you know, this Power Wagon. They're big trucks. And to climb that mountain, get all the way to the top is remarkable, and I'm impressed with both of them, and I like each of them for different reasons, obviously. And you know, you're going to have your own approach to these two trucks based on how you drive and what you're looking for out of these Rams. But both are very, very interesting, and you know, of course, as I mentioned, love the big screen on these. They do a great job with that, and it's actually very, very functional. The one thing I'd love to see, and they can do it, maybe they'll save this for the big off-road Ram that's coming up in another year or so, but they could steal the Jeep off-road pages from the Uconnect and put it here in the Power Wagon or the Rebel. That would be a heck of a lot of fun, especially if you do take your truck off-road. I mean, it's a bit of a novelty, but I do like it when I'm driving Jeeps off-road, so perhaps that's something they can do in the future. But otherwise, pretty impressed with these things. Hope you guys like this piece, and if you did, you know what to do. Thanks for watching this piece about the Ram Rebel and the Ram Power Wagon. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you again next time.